Hey guys, what's up? Sean T here, Cars and Caffeine. Just gotta put in my 2 cents about Mopar and all of the stuff that goes behind the Charger. Now, I've been a Mopar guy pretty much my whole life. My dad was a huge Mopar guy. He would only drive Mopar. He raced Mopar. And I got the bug. I love V8s. I've owned, I think, about 10 of them in my life, from Chrysler 300Cs, Magnums. I would have a few Magnums. I like to buy and sell and trade and etc. My best one I've ever had was a 2019 Scat Pack wide body in Sublime Green. Now, saying all that, I don't know where it comes from, and maybe it's the new kind of person that is new to this style of car. I know it's a lot of young people in the US that are buying Hellcats, Scat Packs, etc., and they don't have any like long-term connection. Yes, they say they love Mopars, but I don't know. I just feel like there was so much hate around the Charger EV. I don't like it. I would never buy one. I think it was a beautiful looking car. I think it is a beautiful looking car. I think they did a great job. I love the fact that they made it all-wheel drive. When you really break that car down at the end of the day, it's faster, and they were forced to do it. They didn't do it because they wanted to. They didn't want to destroy their company. They were making whackloads of money selling the Challenger and the Charger. If you actually believe that, because I hear everyone saying Dodge, why did Dodge do it? Dodge didn't do that. The government did it. They sold so many V8s that they weren't allowed, because of their emissions, to be able to keep selling them. They had to meet a plateau in order to satisfy the government, so that later on in time they could sell V8s, etc. And I believe, don't quote me, but I do believe that when Trump came into power, he basically abolished all that nonsense. And this is why we're starting to, I mean, the straight six, the Hurricane motor was always a thing. They were always going to build that, to my knowledge, based on fuel consumption, etc. Now that comes to my second point. Nobody has a problem with straight sixes. You know, everyone loves BMWs with the straight six. Everybody loves GTRs with the straight six. But Dodge puts it in a car and they're idiots, which I don't understand. At the end of the day, again, most muscle car people, lovers of muscle, yes, V8s, I get it. Again, I love V8s. I love the sound. I love the power. But at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is, when you pull up beside me, I want to beat you. And we all know that that's a reality. You know, that's our egos. You know, everyone wants their car to be faster. And the reality is the 550 horsepower straight six with twin turbos and the ability to push up to 1,000 horsepower will walk Hellcats all day on the street. You have to take it to a track. You got to warm up the tires. You got to put slicks on the back. The Charger, what they built, is a better, faster car. And it looks fantastic. I will say this. I'm not afraid to say it. They've modernized the car. They've given it an amazing interior, which everyone kept crying about as well. Dodge needs to update their interior. It's from 1920. Like, no, they didn't. Their cars were fantastic. I'll be the first one to say it. But an update on the interior was necessary. I shouldn't have said they didn't need to, because they did need to. And I believe they tried to give us everything we wanted. We wanted power. We wanted it to be fast. We wanted it to look good. We wanted to be that big, luxurious muscle. I love all that as well. I love the room. That was one of the biggest things when I bought my first 300C. It was nice, big, comfy car. That's what I loved about it. But it also had the grunt and the power that I wanted. So, you know, what I love about them, they were trying to transfer that into the electric car. Yes, it sounds stupid. I'm not a fan of the way it sounds, but they were trying to give us what we want. It does all-wheel drive donuts. It's a 700 horsepower electric car. They tried. And I think we should be giving them a little bit of leeway there and saying, you know, thanks for trying. But the reality is consumers don't want it. They know that. They knew that. And yeah, they could have did some different things, come out with a different EV. I get all that. But again, they're looking at their strongest selling vehicle, and they want to try to maintain that. They want to try to make that transfer and please everybody. That's all they were trying to do. And again, I believe they did a really good job of that at the end of the day. All-wheel drive, free, basically, you know, somewhat free or very low fuel costs compared to a Hellcat. I would assume less maintenance. Now, I know they've had issues, but regardless, you know, lower maintenance. I argue that it's as good looking, if not better looking. I like the fact that they stick to a two-door and maintain instead of going Challenger Charger. You know, there's a lot of stuff that they did right. The exhaust sound, yeah, I get it. You know, we don't all love it. But again, let's go back to, we all love the sound. That's what we didn't like about our electric cars, that they're silent. So again, Dodge tried to give us what they thought we needed or wanted. And then everybody knocks it down. It's stupid. It's like when I pull up beside you and I walk, like badly walk, your Hellcat. You know, so I just don't see where all the hate comes from. You don't like it, you don't have to buy it. The 6-pack, you're not a fan, don't buy it. The V8s are coming, they will come. I guarantee you they're going to do this. Yes, they're going to sell out. Yeah. My main complaint at this point is the price. During COVID, the prices of cars went ridiculously insane. And the fact that the Hornet, you know, in Canada could go up to almost 70. I think it was actually $75,000. I bought my fully loaded Durango RT with the tow pack, so it gave me all the Brembo brakes and the bigger wheels and etc. I bought that for, I think it was 68 with a 70, I believe about a $73,000 MSRP. A full-size Durango with a V8 in it for 73, and you want to try to sell a Hornet that no one liked? That was ridiculous. And we are still in a very high priced range. A well-equipped 6-pack here with the HO motor, the Scat Pack. You know, I'd say mid-level, not like full load. I think it's around the $75,000 to $80,000 mark. So now it makes it less affordable for people. That's a problem. You know, if you're to sell them for 50, 55, 60 grand, you know, topped out at maybe 65, they would be selling, guaranteed. And that's why they're starting to sell in the US, because they're dropping the prices on them. And I believe the MSRP on them in the States is way better, personally. I think you're 55,000 roughly. So at the end of the day, guys, let's support them. You know, if you're a Mopar guy and you're behind Mopar and you love Mopar, it should be start to finish. It shouldn't be, oh, they did something we don't like, so, you know, they're idiots. You know, it's yeah. I just don't like all the hate. I think everyone should be well informed, know what you're talking about, understand what you're talking about, know what they were trying to do and why they were doing it, and let's support them. Because the reality is, we all love Mopars, we all want the V8s back, but the reality is you know, if you're going to put a 400 horsepower V8 in the new Charger, the straight six is gonna beat them. The all-wheel drive's a huge thing. You know, if you did all-wheel drive to a Hellcat, like a 2023 Hellcat, that thing would be a monster. Again, we know that traction was always the problem with those cars. But in today's world, you know, with all the nonsense that goes on with gas consumption, etc., you know, the idea of even a hybrid, you know, if it's powerful and it's fast and it's good on fuel, and you know, they're just giving us what we want, what we asked for. And I guarantee a straight six can sound really awesome when you do an exhaust on it, and you know, get the turbo whistle and etc., etc. Different concept, I get, but that may just be the way things have to be. And if horsepower and traction is key, and they deliver all that stuff, and they're walking everything else, well, then they did their job, in my opinion. So once again, that's my 2 cents on Mopar, Stellantis, and I think that we need to be behind them a little more, give them the support they need, and appreciate the goals of trying to give the consumer what they want with their hands tied behind their back, because that's what they were dealing with. You guys have a great day. Once again, Sean T, Cars and Caffeine. Hit the like, subscribe, etc. I'm going to try to get back into doing more videos, but I kind of fell off there for a little bit. That's my 2 cents. You guys have a great day. Take care.